Imagine a Chinese carrier battle group closing in on Taiwan's western coast. Taiwan has one option left: a ground-launched missile, fired from a mobile launcher hidden in the mountains. It needs to find a moving ship, at sea, beyond 500 kilometers. The question is, does Taiwan have that missile yet? Before we answer the Taiwan question, let's understand what we're actually talking about. PrSM, the Precision Strike Missile, is America's newest ground-launched ballistic missile, designed to replace ATACMS. But Increment 2 is a completely different beast. On March 12, 2026, a HIMARS launcher fired PrSM Increment 2 in its first dedicated multi-mode seeker test. The missile flew 350 kilometers, but the distance wasn't the story. The seeker was. Increment 2 combines 3 layers of guidance: INS and GPS for mid-course navigation, a passive radio frequency seeker that listens to a ship's own radar emissions, and an imaging infrared terminal seeker that locks onto the ship's physical hull at the end. That 3-layer stack is what makes it nearly immune to jamming. This is what makes it a land-based anti-ship missile, LBASM. Fired from shore, designed to hit a carrier at sea, with a range that will eventually exceed 500 kilometers and is being engineered toward 1,000 kilometers as the program matures. For Taiwan, facing the largest naval buildup in modern history, this is exactly the kind of weapon that could change the math of an invasion. Now let's audit what Taiwan actually holds today. In December 2025, the Trump administration approved the largest ever arms sale to Taiwan, $11.1 billion. The package included 82 HIMARS launchers, 420 M57 ATACMS missiles, that's the unitary 300-kilometer variant, loitering drones, Javelin anti-tank missiles, and Harpoon support. Taiwan is already getting the HIMARS platform, the same launcher that fires PrSM. And the M57 ATACMS can hit targets at 300 kilometers. But ATACMS uses inertial navigation and GPS, pre-programmed coordinates. It hits where you tell it to go, not where the target moved. Against a PLA carrier battle group maneuvering at sea, ATACMS misses. PrSM Inc. 2 doesn't. That gap between what Taiwan has and what it needs is exactly why the PrSM Inc. 2 question matters. So can Taiwan request PrSM Inc. 2 through the Foreign Military Sales Program? The honest answer, not anytime soon. 3 reasons. PrSM's anti-ship capability was first tested in June 2024 when a PrSM struck the decommissioned USS Cleveland, a moving target ship in the North Pacific. That was the proof of concept. March 2026 was the first dedicated Increment 2 seeker validation test. First procurement for the U.S. Marine Corps isn't scheduled until FY 2028. You cannot put an export order in for a weapon your own military hasn't fully received yet. In March 2026, PrSM saw its first confirmed combat use when U.S. Central Command fired PrSMs during Operation Epic Fury against Iranian military targets. Those were rounds taken from an already limited inventory. Pre-conflict, the U.S. Army had ordered roughly 130 PrSMs before FY 2024. Production is ramping, but it takes years to rebuild meaningful stockpiles after combat use. Washington will not export a missile it's still racing to produce for itself. Here's the most telling data point in this entire audit. Norway, a NATO founding member, a Tier 1 U.S. ally, requested PrSM in 2024 through FMS. Washington said no. August 2024. Officially denied. Norway ended up buying South Korea's K-239 Chunmoo instead. The stated reason? Export restrictions and technology security concerns. If a NATO partner that co-develops missiles with the US was turned down for PrSM Increment 1, what are Taiwan's odds for Increment 2, an anti-ship variant still in early testing? But here's where the audit gets interesting. Taiwan doesn't need to wait for America. Taiwan's NCSIS, its Domestic Defense Institute, has developed the Hsiung Sheng cruise missile. Range 1,200 kilometers. It can strike PLA bases in Fujian, Guangzhou, Nanjing, even Shanghai. And then there's the Yun Feng, also known by its military designation, Ching Tien, a hypersonic missile, Mach 6, range 1,200 to 2,000 kilometers. In production since 2019, continuously upgraded. That flight envelope covers virtually all of eastern China. These are weapons Taiwan built, not bought. Not subject to FMS export reviews, not waiting on US congressional notification timelines, not limited by MTCR politics, the international regime that restricts sales of missiles exceeding 300 kilometers, which is exactly why the US struggles to sell long-range strike systems abroad in the first place. The irony is sharp. Taiwan's homegrown long-range strike capability already exceeds what it could realistically purchase from Washington in any near-term timeframe. Final audit, 3 windows. Short term, 2026 to 2028. Taiwan receives HIMARS, M57 ATACMS, drones, Harpoon support, solid asymmetric foundation, no PrSM of any increment. Midterm, 2028 to 2030. PrSM Increment 1 is already in US and Australian service. Taiwan is a credible candidate, but competes with a growing queue of US allies in the Indo-Pacific. Increment 2, still years from export consideration. Long-term, 2030 plus. If geopolitical pressure continues its current trajectory and US production reaches strategic surplus, PrSM Increment 2 for Taiwan moves from unlikely to possible. Not guaranteed, possible. But the deeper strategic truth is this. The conversation about PrSM Increment 2 is a Washington conversation. Taiwan's deterrence conversation is already happening in the mountains of Taichung, where Ching Tien missiles are sitting in hardened shelters, pointed east, ready. PrSM Increment 2 is a game changer. Taiwan may not need to wait for it. That's the tactical audit for today. If you want a deeper breakdown of Taiwan's indigenous arsenal or how the MTCR regime quietly shapes what America can and can't sell, drop it in the comments. We'll run it.